Alright, my next modification to my favorite Harbor Freight worktop bench or wood workbench is to make a trash holder. So currently what I do is I just use one of these cheap clamps, and I take a bag either from Harbor Freight or Home Depot, usually what they give you when you buy some screws or something, and I just clamp it onto the end here, and I throw little things as I make trash. You know, it might be wrappings for or packaging material, little scraps of wood or rags or something, paper towels. And I guess this next modification is sort of improving on how I'm doing my trash collection on my workbench, and the goal is to build a little trash holder for it. Alright, let's figure this out.
So the first thing I'm going to do is prototype it. And I used some scrap plywood to make two arms with 3 grooves in each arm. 2 of the grooves are going to be used to hold a trash bag, and 1 groove is going to be used to put in place the holder on the lip of the Harbor Freight workbench. The back scrap wood, which is the spacer, will have a bolt placed in it and a nut to hold it in place, and this will add sort of a gripping action to the holder, and you can see it when I set it up here. This is the finished prototype. You can see that nut in the back with the bolt that will screw in to hold it on the lip, and that will be the back part, and the 2 front grooves on the arms or cutouts in the arms of the plywood will be used to hold it. Now, one of the things you may notice is that this trash holder is fairly narrow, and that's so it could fit between the leg of the workbench and the sort of end of the workbench. And that really would later on become not so good after I used it for a while, and I'll explain later. But here you can see the prototype. Seems to work. The nut and bolt hold it in place. You can screw it into the bench without really damaging it. And the 2 cutouts on each arm allow you to hang the trash bag in place. So after using it for a while, one of the things I noticed is that you didn't have to have it on the front of the workbench. You could place it on the side of the workbench. And once you make that decision to move it to the side of the workbench, you don't have to make it as narrow. And so now I've used my prototype for a few weeks. I decided to make a final version. I got some new plywood out. I'm just going to use my old prototype as a template to cut out the 3 grooves in the 2 arms. But in this case, because I could make it wider and I wasn't sure how wide I wanted to use it depending on the bags, I decided to make the bolt holders on each arm separately. And so what you would end up with 2 arms with 2 bolt holders for each arm, and therefore you could actually move them apart as needed. Here I made a mistake by putting both of the bolt holders on the same side, and they should have been facing each other. I figured I could just use it, and after a while it bothered me, so then I remade it and put a bolt holder in sort of mirror images of each other. And this is sort of the final version. You know, you see the 3 grooves, 2 for the trash holder, and here you can see the final version of the trash holder. And now I have a much wider sort of spacing of the 2 arms, which allows you to put more trash in, or larger pieces of trash. You couldn't do this on the front of the bench, it would block the drawers, but on the side of the bench you can make it as wide as you need be. Alright YouTube, thanks for watching. If you have a question, just leave it in the comment section.